Hey guys, welcome to another Football Manager video. I'm just going to do a quick player search for players between 15 and 20 years old for my Arsenal save in 2045, so the distant future. And I thought you guys might want to come along for the ride. So we've got 8,163 players between the ages of 15 and just under 21. This is all the young players in my save. And what I've done, I've added this column here called excluding goalkeepers. So I don't need to sign a goalkeeper. I've already got plenty. And what I should find is with one click, I can sort this by how interesting these players are. And we've got this number of players here. The first, 15 players, over 110%, which is the level that I've been targeting. That level is the kind of players that are on track to be Champions League players. If you look at my past couple of videos, I've been making videos quite a lot recently because I've been onto this line of trying to sign players like this, my Arsenal save. If you're looking for to be a dominant player at Champions League level, this is the kind of trajectory you need to be on. So what I'm going to do is look through a few of these guys now, and this is whether the player is UK and Ireland. So we've already signed 5 guys that are under 21 and are non-domestic. So we've only got one slot for that, and we're in a winter window, about a week and a half to go. We can get one overseas guy, and then we can get UK guys. Okay, top of the list, Adam Forster of Brighton, 30 million, and it says that the guy's got good potential as a ball-playing defender. Here's Forster, 11 jumping reach on a centre-back prospect. Isn't going to be getting 33 million from me, even though he's got 5-star potential. So Forster for me is a no. Second on the list, Houston of Newcastle, forward, 113%. Okay, here I don't like jumping reach 6, natural fitness 5 for someone so expensive. Just a fickle personality, not one of the better ones. I think this is a player I'll probably pass on as well. Next one, Mata Tiger in Mexico, fairly professional, 112%, 18 years old. 14.3 advanced forward on attack means a pretty kind of low-end Premier League player day one. Could play minutes, could improve from there. And I've been keeping my eye on Mata for a while. He's got the 5-star potential. He's got the acceleration and pace. The composure and off the ball maybe not quite as obviously good, which are other things I look for. But 6 foot, 2-footed, the 5 stars are in place. I am starting to think Mata is one of the ones I might go for. All right, next one, Luna. Again, Monterrey, I think that's Mexico as well. Driven, got 105 as a wing-back, 112 as a segundo volante. That means probably high work rate. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, high work rate. And right-backs have been hard to find in my save for whatever reason. There's a lot more left-backs knocking around than right-backs. I don't really love 6 dribbling, but I think this player goes on the shortlist. 20 determination, as people look for that. The tackling is there. So more of a defensive wing-back than an attacking one. 30,000 a week already, so might not be cheap, but let's put this guy on the list. All right, Ole Kjartan Balge Kirkevag. Fairly professional, just turned 17, which means available, 112%, another forward. Yeah, all right, onto the list. Next one, Tom Smythe. We've missed the boat on this guy. 67 million value already. It says Plymouth, but he's on loan from Man United. I've looked at this guy for the past 2 or 3 seasons and just sort of watched the value go up. I could have had this guy for, say, 15 million 3 seasons ago. The number hasn't changed. The trajectory is high. This guy's going to go on to be a Champions League level centre-back, and he's English. Here he is. He's good. He's got acceleration, pace, jumping reach. He's 6 foot, but jumping reach, I keep being told in my YouTube comments, is more important than height. He's left-footed, which is always good. His tackling's not great, but he's only 20, so he should find that with this little bit more potential ability left and 4 years of development, he's going to probably get that sort of tackling 13, 14, which is going to be good enough. And this guy will probably play Premier League minutes. For Manchester United, he might be a rotation option as the left-footed centre-back, but this is a player we should have signed 2 or 3 seasons ago and didn't. We missed the boat. Okay, next one's Ruby Shepens of Angers, 19 and a half years old, 112, a forward, fairly determined. All right, this guy's got a wanted flag. He's wanted from loans from clubs that are at lower levels. There's not too much to read into that. He is pretty good. Probably not as good as the other forwards we've just seen, but pretty good. Oh, look, was one of these Belgian amateur guys that you see and has moved across into French football from being a Belgian amateur. Pretty good, but I think we've got other players better than this. All right, I'm highlighting the guys I like now. Gary Lavelle of Burnley, I've been watching since he was a new player, a new gen. He's now 18. The value hasn't changed, 16. The number hasn't changed. It's fallen a bit, 112. He hasn't been developing hugely. On this guy, I'd like to see the acceleration and pace be a bit higher. And I think also the potential ability 3.5. It used to say 5. So I don't know what to read into that, whether that's a good thing that it used to say 5 and the scout's changing. I just don't know. So this is a player who's been on the brink of someone I've wanted to sign for a while, but as time's gone on, I think I'm probably, on the short list, but I'm not quite there yet, not at the 16 million valuation. A lower valuation, yes. At this valuation, probably no. Next one, Ferdinandus Goivert, some great names in this. Has got 140 value and 111 as a wing back, which is pretty good. We've missed the boat on this guy as well. The reason we didn't sign this guy initially was just work rate of 13, and he's been signed by Bayern Munich. He spawned originally in Mechelen in Belgium. They've signed him for 29 million, and that work rate may improve, it may not. I don't know, but we've missed out on this guy anyway. Next one, Amir Ortega, who shows promise as a wing-back and as a defender, but real promise apparently as a secundo volante. Let's focus on his work rate, age 17, Las Palmas 10 million. All right, so this guy's got the 5 stars. He is 2-footed, fairly 2-footed, but he is a centre-back with 12 jumping reach at the age of 17, although he has only just turned 17. That probably gets to 14, maybe gets towards 15. He's got 7 passing, so that rules him out as a midfielder, and 13 work rate. So that's not a midfielder for us. Is it a defender that looks interesting, could potentially be 2-footed? Yeah, just about, I think. So let's put Ortega on the list. All right, Havpor Sveinsson of Feyenoord is another striker. He hasn't got as much pace as the others and hasn't got the 5 stars. I think he's probably less interesting than the others. We really do want acceleration from a forward. He's only got 10 acceleration. At 17, I don't think he's going to develop to be the kind of guy that we like. And at 7 million, he's not just a straight-out player trading signing either. Next one, Anthony. I think that's Barcelona B and a centre-back, 110. Professional. Okay, I like this guy, and I've not seen him before. All right, so acceleration 17, jumping reach 16, pace 13, and tackling 15. That's a pretty good combination. He's 19 and a half years old. He's professional. He's played 70 appearances for Barcelona B. We haven't scouted him yet, and we should. Right, next one, Lennox Royer, 110 as a secundo volante. He's a defensive midfielder, this guy. I've been keeping an eye on this guy for a while. He's got high work rate, if I remember rightly. Yeah, there it is. And the only problem with this guy is he's got low potential ability and a relatively high price. So what I've been doing is I think he can just keep developing over there in Holland at Sparta Rotterdam. That price might change. His development's interesting, but he's not a player I'm thinking that will gain much from bringing into our club at the minute. We'll just keep an eye on him, so no need to scout him for the time being anymore. Next one, Stevenson, Manchester City, and hence the 100 million valuation. Another defence midfielder. Yeah, look, not much we can do about this guy. 5-star, he's good, but he's in the Manchester City system. We can't afford to buy him out of it. All we can do is keep an eye as the years go by and hope that Manchester City can't integrate him into the team, at which point we might be interested. But for the time being, nothing to do with this guy. Next one, Tatsuoka, just about to turn 19. Model citizen, always like that. 2.7 million, nice and cheap. And a forward, 110. This guy is a new gen at one of my former clubs, Yokohama, in this Pentagon Challenge save. And he's got absolutely everything except the jumping reach. He's a diminutive, less-sided forward. Quite interesting, only the 3 stars. I don't think even as a player trading, this guy is one that I think I'll be reaching for. The game thinks only championship standard. He isn't championship standard. This guy will be better than that. But in our team at the moment, there's no real place for him in the team. And there are probably better options out there if you're just trying to get a better valuation over time and sell. So I think we'll pass on Tatsuoka. Now that takes us down on the list to the bottom of the players that have been at 110% or better. And we've already found quite a few interesting non-domestic options. And I know that we can only sign one non-domestic option. So with the exception of this bloke, I'm probably going to look at because he's got no club and he's a free transfer in a minute. I'm going to stick now to domestic players only. All right, here's Kokora. And I don't think he's going to be a centre-back for us because he's got jumping reach of 9 and 5'9". So I don't think he's one for us. All right, switch this then just to UK as we go below 109. We start looking towards these guys and we'll focus on the relatively inexpensive ones. So Smullen, West Brom, value 11 million and either a wing-back or a defence midfielder. So again, this is going to be a high work rate guy, I expect. All right, so things to like on Smullen, who's got acceleration, pace, stamina, work rate, which is great if you want to be a wing-back. And he's tackling of 9, might develop to 12 or something. Obviously, the game's got him as a attacking midfielder. So in a way, that can be helpful because if you're looking for a wing-back with attacking capability, that would be good. But I think at 5'4" and strength 4 and jumping reach 6, I think what the game's trying to tell you is this isn't really a guy who's going to be a top-tier wing-back, and the value is already at 12, and I think there's probably a bit too much for us to do with this guy, so we'll leave this guy off the list. Next one, Mukiele, I'll show you him, 21 years old, 150 million. Just goes to show where the valuation can go with some of these older guys. 21 years old here, just like Smythe was at 60 million, this guy's at 150 million, so there's a lot of value on this page. This guy is a midfielder, and he's good, and we missed the boat on him as well, and there's not much to do with him now. This guy's already broken into the Chelsea first team. He's got under 21 England caps. He's got great potential ability. The 14 work rate is not quite what I want. I want 15 or 16, and that's in tackling 8 as well, which is why he doesn't quite fit as a defensive midfielder for us. All right, from here on in, I'm not going to sign players that are below 110 of the order of kind of 25 million, like this guy, Yi Jiang Ma, for example. I think, why don't we set this guy Jennings, I've been keeping an eye on for a while, so I'm going to set an upper limit here of 16 million, so I capture Jennings, and then keep going down the list after that. All right, so players with a value less than or equal to 16 million that are UK and Ireland. So here we are. So here's Jennings, but it says Palermo. He's a defence midfielder as well, but he's on loan from Man City. So this guy spawned into the game with a 50 million valuation and a 5-star rating. That's all gone away now. And he's coming to the end of his contract. And there's interest from clubs like Milan, Porto, Benfica, which tells you he's good. He's definitely good. It's just a question of how good. In an English club, you're not allowed to sign players on a Bosman from other English clubs, as I'm sure most of you listening to this will know. But what I will consider doing is paying that. The question is it worth paying that 15 million for this player? And the answer is maybe. I think he's almost good enough. All right, next one, Stevie Falconer, Celtic, 106%. So the values, the quality is starting to drop off now, but Resolute, 13, 18 years old. Yeah, okay, this is a pretty interesting looking player. This player could develop to be good, left-footed, British. So in the UK that counts. Sorry, in England, in English football that counts as domestic, even though obviously not actually English. Onto the list. All right, next one, Anderson is more expensive than Falconer, so there's not much point looking there. I'm just going to try and see really, is there anything else worth looking at? So we get down to these ones that are cheap and fairly professional. So if we're looking just from a player trading point of view, let's look at both of these guys. Dyer of Sunderland, who is a forward. The game has him as an attacking midfielder. 3 million, fairly professional. Has that promising badge that you see, which is normally pretty encouraging. That's an interesting player, one that can be added to the would be you could add to the academy, and of course you're signing before 18, so it could be homegrown at club. I think that's an add to the list. Next one, Byrne, defender, 103%. So just on the homegrown at club thing, in the Champions League, you need to have 4 players called homegrown at club. That means they've spent at least 3 years at your club between the age of 15 and 21, 3 years of time spent at the club, so not away on loan, but at the club. You can only therefore achieve that if the player's been in your club before age 18. And the occasional player I like to just leave in the club so that they get homegrown at club. And someone who's cheap like this guy, Callum Byrne, might actually be interesting in that context, and I think is one to add to the list. All right, now I'm looking just for players who are really cheap and under the age of 18 for that homegrown at club reason, and I'm going to just do a couple more tweaks here. So now I'm only paying, let's call it 3 million. And I can just quickly look down here to see if there's anyone under the age of 18, and there's not many left. We've got this guy, Starkey, East Kilbride. Here we go. We're getting away from the bigger clubs now. And normally, because of the way Football Manager works, guys like this don't really make a lot of sense, and the way the reputation dynamic works. And sure enough, this guy's got low jumping reach. So I think we've just got to the end of the list there, and we can see as a result I'm going to send all these guys off for scouting and then see from there. All right, so the scouting reports are in. To start off, Kierkegaard, so there's got the high potential ability, 4.5 stars. He's got an estimated wage ask of 30-odd thousand, which probably means he's good. Okay, Byrne, the defender at Wolves, only got the 2 stars. Okay, we move on. Next one, Ortega, 5 stars, a high wage estimate or ask. He's got some sort of release clause. Adaptability and consistency, not worried about those. Has work to do in the heading department, which is not great for a centre-back, but everything else, his hidden ratings are only okay. They're not really good. And when you consider he's got the strength 7, he's not got the world's best jumping reach. I'm still pretty hesitant on this guy with the 10 million. I think he's good, but not as good as the sort of 5-star. I'm kind of on the fence on Ortega, I think. Next one. Okay, Mata, his hidden ratings have come back well. Consistency is good. His adaptability is a problem, but that's fine. And he has got the 5 stars, of course, and the 14 million. I think there's a lot to like here, and I think this guy is the leader in the clubhouse for the one non-domestic signing for us. I think signing Mata would make sense. 14 million. It's not that difficult to believe he might be worth, 30 or 40 million once he's a bit more fully developed towards the end of a 5-year contract. Lavelle, 3.5, wants 25,000 a week. It's got the injury proneness. I don't worry too much about that, but it's not really what you want. I think I remain fairly uninterested in this guy. He just hasn't quite got the acceleration and pace I'm looking for. Strength 11, bravery 12, when you're meant to be the high jumping reach, tall guy in the middle of a back 3. He hasn't quite got the perfect fit. He hasn't quite got the potential ability, and he hasn't quite got the low enough price. So I think we'll leave Lavelle. I suspect he'll get cheaper as time goes by. Dyer, 3 stars. We can get him for 600,000. He won't want much of a wage at all. His hidden ratings are pretty good. 3 star. We can just tuck him away in the academy. Dyer looks like one to pick up. And then Falconer's one with 4 stars. And I think if I'm going to sign Dyer, then that kind of removes the need for Falconer. Yes, Dyer's not as good, but can come into the academy as an under 18 player, probably not go out on loan and sort of become homegrown at club and then sort of see what happens after that. Whereas Falconer, 6 million, he's probably never going to be good enough for the first team. He isn't as cheap, etc., etc., etc. I think take one of these and it's Dyer is what I think I'm going to do here. Luna, this is the right back. He's got the 4.5 potential ability. He wants a high wage, which again can be a good thing. Oddly, his hidden ratings are only okay, and he's got that crossing 8, dribbling 6. I think this player will come to Europe, be pretty good, but I don't think he's quite the ideal fit for us. And at 11 million, I don't think there's massive amounts of trading opportunity on a player like this. So I think we'll leave this guy. And then last one is Anthony. So this is the one that I really like the look of, but he's only come back with 3 stars. All the hiddens are good. But he's only come back with the 3 stars, which is really interesting because I think he looks like a better player than this. I think it's really between Anthony and the Mexican forward and the Norwegian forward, I can't remember the names, for which one of these three is the foreign signing. And then we've got that other guy, which is the academy pickup. I think what I'm going to do is progress contracts with these three interesting ones, and then once I know the contracts, then we'll just pick one from there. All right, so we're just trying to do Kierkegaard. I think two things to know on this, if you didn't already. First thing is, it's always a good idea to just remove this profit from next sale thing. So just do remove and exclude, and then that means it's a straight deal. You don't get to, they don't get any of the profits or whatever from ongoing sales, which is the deal we want to do. And then here, if we suggest this lowest part of the value, what we'll get is something back. We suggest 220, they want 5 million. And what that tends to mean, if I just go to a spreadsheet, they want 5 million and we said 220,000, and you end up typically right down the middle. There's not a lot of complexity around that. So if we just work out what there is, it's 2.6, which is normally roughly the same as taking off all the extras and then just bidding it to them again, and they will probably accept the 2.6. So that's just a thing to know if you're doing negotiations. You can try to sort of work around the edges, but basically that's how most negotiations work. It seems to be the way the game is wired to do these negotiations. Shout in the comments if you think there's something more complex in this, because this is what I always do. Yeah, another thing I should have done and didn't, I just showed you how you should go into potential profit, do that and remove and exclude. But I forgot on this one, which is with Barcelona, to do the same thing with buyback price. And now they've locked it in. So I either need to accept the buyback price in Anthony, or I need to wait until closer to the deadline and try to offer a game but without the buyback price. There's no way I'll buy this guy with them having the buyback rights. The whole point is if he's good, then he's ours. So we're going to cancel this, and I'll have a think about whether I want to go further. I think the price on Anthony was fairly clear. It was about 5 million. So at least we know that much, and we can sort of figure out from there what we want to do. All right, contracts on Kierkegaard, who's the young Norwegian forward. He wants squad player in a Champions League club. Admittedly, he wouldn't join until he was 18, but that's a bit ridiculous that he doesn't want the breakthrough prospect one or whatever. That's one of two things. One is he's just got crazy demands and we shouldn't deal with him. And the second is he's a really, really, really good player that we've identified and that we should take it seriously. So I don't know which of those two things it is. So I'm going to go through and agree a contract anyway. We're not going to give him that. We're not going to give him that. But we will. And we also want the 5-year thing. I always want contracts of 5 years in length. I mean, 32,000 for a player like this this could just... Yeah, okay. This player's got high contract demands, and it could be because he's really good. One of the things that you find if you use these kind of optimization approaches with spreadsheets and apps and stuff is you are tending to find some of the very, very best players in the game, and so they start doing things like this when you try to sign them, even though to begin with they look like a fairly innocuous signing, only 5 million or whatever. But this guy wants 30,000 a week. He's being difficult about his contract, wants to be considered a squad player, etc., etc., etc. He is not your ideal player. Comes in, breakthrough prospects, they go on loan for 2 or 3 years, and then then you see what you want to do with them. This guy is more difficult than that, which may or may not be a good thing. There are times where this is a very interesting sign, and if we had more spots to sign more players, we've only got one spot for foreign players, I might be interested because of this. Not in spite of it, but because of it. We've only got one slot. I kind of want a simpler life than this. We might move on from this guy. Okay, on to Mata, the Mexican forward with the 5 stars. By contrast with the Norwegian guy, this guy is giving us an easy life, breakthrough prospect. We won't promise him a loan move, although he is about to get one if we sign him. And we try and take this off and try and go for the 5 years. And also, seeing as the other two have not gone so well, I might just bump that a tiny bit just to prevent him from running off. If you look, his estimate down here is low anyway. That's going to go up a bit. Okay, we just haggle over a number. I'm happy to pay this number. 20,000 a week is what you pay a top-end championship player in Football Manager. 40,000 is a low-end Premier League player. That's roughly what they cost. This guy's already a low-end Premier League player, so he's worth about 40,000 a week right now, and he's got 5-star potential ability, which means he's probably 100,000 a week, 150,000 a week player in 3 or 4 years' time. And so a 5-year deal at 23,000 a week is a solid deal, even with a 10 million fee. And then the guy they want a loan back. Now I do have Liga MX loaded because it's one of the leagues that I've managed in before in this Pentagon Challenge. But he hasn't broken into the team, so I can't leave him on loan there because he's got to get minutes wherever he goes. So we'll reject that. All right. Also agreed a fee of Man City of about 14 million, I think, or 12 million. And had a contract discussion with this guy, Jennings, who's the interesting defensive midfielder prospect. He's English. I think he's good. But he's come back and wants 100 grand a week. And he's got that sort of aggro orange box thing going on. And again, it's another sign that this player is good. This player is definitely good. I have no doubt about that. But do I want a guy for my developmental group of loanees who's on 100 grand a week? Not really. He's got offers, I think, from Milan and Porto, Benfica, Lyon. He's good. I suspect what's going to happen is he'll go into one of those clubs. He won't break into the first team for a while. And in 2 or 3 years' time, aged sort of 21, 22, 23, he'll still be available for something like 20 million. And if I want a squad backup at that point, I could well end up signing this guy. But I don't think now's the time. It just isn't working from a career point of view. So this isn't a guy who's going to join us right now. 100 grand a week is just too much, I think. All right, turns out Dyer doesn't want to come and play in our academy for 2,000 a week after all, because he just had an offer from his home club. Hardly the end of the world. Fair enough. Move on. All right, yet more high-quality graphics on the screen as we just figure out what we're going to do. So these are the 5 players we looked at. We did all the spreadsheets, all the rest of it. Came up with these 5 guys. Anthony his club wants a buyback. He's only 3 stars. Okay. Paul Jennings, Manchester City, defence midfielder, looks good. 100 grand a week, too much. He's going to go and sign for Benfica or Milan or somebody else. We might buy him a couple of years down the road. Dyer re-signed for Sunderland, fair enough. Kierkegaard looks good. Keep an eye on him as he grows as a player, but he wants to be a squad player. He's a bit aggro about his contract, not really interesting. And so after all that, the only one who hasn't fallen at the various fences is this guy called Mata, 18 years old, 14 million, 20 grand a week, breakthrough prospect, simple deal, 5-star potential. A couple of things from deadline day. So Mata's off on loan to Dynamo Dresden. We found him a move to second division in Germany, which is a level where he should score plenty of goals. I think they're a top-half club. That will work quite well. And then Jennings is signed for Milan, and he wanted 100 grand a week from me, 50 grand a week from them. Fine. And we'll see how he gets on there. So there you go. We've just spent a load of time and a load of analytics to do what, you probably should just do anyway, which is get them all scouted and find the cheapest South American guy with a 5-star rating, which of course is a perfectly legitimate way to pay Football Manager, and will work. That's the end of that. Thank you for this. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed that one. See you in the next one.